Thank you.
Thank you. Victoria Neighbourhood Association, Bob Mentai, not Marjorie today. Welcome.
Thank you. To begin with, I'd just like to explain a little bit about how the submission was arrived at, the V&A submission. There was a team of 16 people who worked on the submission, and then a draft was sent to all 104 members of the association for their comments on it. And in the submission, only those points that receive strong support are included. Strong means probably 90% of people commenting favorably on that part of the submission. The priorities in our submission, I'd just like to list them. The first and the highest, most important to us, is water purity and water-related infrastructure. There is no higher priority for us. Secondly would be transportation, and in that, I guess, our main point would be that we think the council needs to take over the city transport from ECAN, whether that's realistic or not. It just doesn't seem to be working effectively at the moment. Thirdly, there's great concern about rates increases, and there's a feeling among the association that we need to defer spending on large projects. Two, for example, would be the stadium and the $10 million grant to the cathedral. And finally, the fourth priority would be to lobby central government about changes to the district plan legislation before the 5-year moratorium is over. Now, I'd like to just say a few words about each one of those. Beginning with water. The overarching priority in the long-term plan should be water and water-related infrastructure. How the city ensures people have clean water is essential. And so too is ensuring that the infrastructure involved in safely disposing of, cleansing, storing, / treating wastewater is of prime importance. There can be no higher priority. Our drinking water is already contaminated, compromised with nitrate contamination and faulty wellhead maintenance, and chlorination is required, even if only temporarily. The sewage treatment system is only being repaired with no plan for expansion, upgrading, or protection from the effects of rising sea levels. This is a massive problem on the horizon. There is nothing or very little in the LTP about it. We do not support deferring wastewater upgrades for roading projects. And I just want to say again, the current sewage plant is inadequate for a city of this size, especially with the increasing number of suburbs and spread outside the city limits. Although there's a plan to repair the sewage treatment system, there is no plan for expanding, upgrading, or protecting the system from the effects of sea level. Transportation and roading. We encourage the council to take over full responsibility for public transport. It does not make sense to split public transport across two local government agencies, the council and ECAN. The council is the appropriate body, we feel, to oversee planning and tendering, as well as the infrastructure. Public transport should be seen as a service with some cost recovered, but not a full income stream. We would urge the council immediately, or as soon as practically possible, to reintroduce the electric or yellow bus system as soon as possible. There has been unanimous support from the V&A membership over several consultations regarding this. Turning to rates and major projects. Many of our members are concerned about the regular rates increases. Many people are. They also have calculated that the overall effect will be greater than 5.5%. Many of the members did not support the targeted rates for rebuilding the cathedral. We therefore cannot give blanket support for other targeted rates without knowing what the projects requiring funding might be. We do not support funding both the stadium and Metro Sports facilities as two separate facilities. The operational costs alone would be prohibitive, especially when added to the operational costs of a large convention center. In regard to lobbying central government about the district plan, we think the council needs to do this for a change in the legislation before the 5-year moratorium period is over. And the reasons are this. Some of the reasons would be removing or making significant changes to the rule requiring a minimum of one residential dwelling for every 200 square meters in neighborhoods such as ours. This is failing, absolutely failing within the 4 avenues. 2, making it more difficult for residential activities to be located within a central city living zone. It's far too easy, we think, for non-commercial or for commercial entities to take over residential land in an area that's small and cannot expand. 3, removing protection of the financial commitment made by hospitality operators within the entertainment precincts, for example, Victoria Street, especially since it has now been over 5 years since most of the bars opened, and no business should expect ongoing protection from central and local government for their personal business decisions. And finally, clarifying the rules related to short-term accommodation facilities within CC Living Zone, especially in relation to purpose-built accommodations such as multi-unit Airbnb developments without the owner living on site. Thank you.
Thank you. That ties in, that last one, with a number of submissions that we've received also from the hospitality sector about the level playing field required with respect to Airbnb. So a very timely comment. Has anyone got any questions? Right, Yanni.
Thank you. I know obviously it's a different process in terms of the district plan. You've talked about making it harder for non-residential activities to go in. Have you got any concern about some of the residential developments that are allowed to happen in the area? We've like either with height or density or
no, on principle we say if it's residents, people living, whatever the scheme is, then and that's suitable. That's allowed under the regulations. What we don't want are
encroachments into the existing residential areas.
I'll give you two examples. The Salvation Army took over 4,200 square meters of the corner of Colombo Street and Salisbury Street that was residential land. Some of it was owned residential L4A, which allows for churches, etc. But the size and scale of that took a big chunk of land, residential land out. And I would put this against the backdrop of the city council saying for years now that they want more residents, and more residents living within the inner city. You cannot, and within a 1 mile square area, continue to gobble up residential land and still use that as your mantra. A second one is a rumored development next where the Christchurch Bowling Club used to be. And while I have every sympathy for that project and the need for it within the city, to site it in prime residential land, if that's to go ahead, would be another sacrifice of the long-term goal of the council. But I'll just leave those two examples. But Yanni, in brief to what you said,
yeah,
as long as it's residential, no, we don't have specific opposition to it. Okay, thank you.
Glenn?
Thanks, Bob. Just a quick question on the Airbnbs. We are doing some background work on that, assembling information, but can you give us a bit more anecdotal?
Yeah, one of the things about Airbnbs is that it becomes a motel, a hotel, and you only have there's nobody actually living on the premises. Somebody delivers a key, or the key is picked up at a central site, and people are there for a night, 2 nights, a week or two. Often half the places, there are no lights on at night. There's no commitment to the area. It is not residential in the sense that we want. We want people living in the area, contributing to the area, and increasing the safety in the area after dark. An Airbnb hotel type of arrangements where you have absentee management like that is a great worry. Plus, it's going to exacerbate, we know this is going to become a crisis soon anyway, all of you do, it exacerbates the parking problem, particularly within the 4 avenues. But if you've got a 15 apartment Airbnb, you're going to have another 15 cars or more parked there overnight, and it becomes becomes a real problem, even when residents, permanent residents aren't there.
No, look, thank you for that. Much appreciated. I mean, obviously there are a number of issues that you've raised in your submission that we shall have a good look at. So thank you very much.